McDonald's employee is fired for helping Steph Curry. The next day, she gets the surprise of it was just another Tuesday at the McDonald's on 12th and Vine. The lunch rush had passed. The air still smelled like fries and ketchup packets. Employees shuffled behind the counter, moving through their routines like clockwork. But one employee, a young woman named Lila, wasn't thinking about burgers or drive-through lines. She was thinking about the man she'd just helped. A tall guy, quiet, wearing sunglasses even though it was cloudy outside, a hoodie pulled low over his head. He didn't say much when he walked in, just ordered a simple meal, no biggie, but as soon as she saw him, she knew who he was. Steph Curry, the four-time NBA champion, the Golden State Warriors legend, one of the greatest shooters to ever play the game. He stood in line like any other customer, didn't ask for special treatment, didn't bring cameras or fans or security, just came in, ordered a chicken sandwich, paid with cash, and then something strange happened. He asked for help, not from the manager, not from someone official, from her, Lila. He leaned forward and whispered, "Hey, do you mind helping me real quick?" She blinked. Of course. He handed her his phone. "I need to send this to my wife," he said, "but I can't get the Wi-Fi to work." She took the phone, connected it to the store's network, sent the message. That was it. No selfies, no autographs, no big scene, just a small favor. She thought nothing of it, until the next day, when she got fired, without warning, without explanation. Her manager called her into the back room. "Corporate called," he said. "They said you violated protocol." "What? How?" "You used your own judgment instead of following company rules. You gave Wi-Fi access to a customer's phone without approval, but it was just a quick message. It wasn't even anything bad." "Sorry," the manager said. "You're done." Just like that. One moment, she was making fries. The next, she was standing outside with a box of her things, watching the golden arches fade behind her. She didn't know what to feel. Anger? Sadness? Confusion? All she knew was, she helped someone, and now she had no job. Lila walked home that day with her head down. The box in her hands felt heavier than it should have. She replayed the moment over and over in her mind. All she did was help. She wasn't trying to break any rules. She didn't even tell anyone who he was. She just saw a man who needed something, and she gave it to him. And now, no job. Her phone buzzed as she reached her apartment. It was a text. Unknown number. She opened it. "Hey Lila, this is Ayesha Curry. Steph told me what you did. Thank you." She stared at the screen. Ayesha Curry, Steph's wife? She blinked, thinking it was some kind of joke, but then another message came through. "We want to do something for you. Can we call?" Lila's heart started to beat faster. She replied, "Yes." 5 minutes later her phone rang. She answered. "Hi Lila," a warm voice said. "This is Ayesha." "Hi," Lila said, barely able to speak. "I just wanted to say thank you again. Steph doesn't get much privacy. He's used to people asking for things, but you didn't. You just helped. That meant a lot. I'm glad I could," Lila said, softly. There was a pause. Then Ayesha said, "We're setting up a meeting tomorrow, with Under Armour. They want to talk to you." "Under Armour?" "Yes, we told them your story. They're inspired." Lila almost dropped the phone. "Under Armour? The brand? The company that made Steph's shoes? You're serious?" she asked. "Very serious," Ayesha said. "You've got a chance here. Don't worry about the job. Something better is coming." Lila sat on her couch. She couldn't believe it. One small act of kindness. That's all it was. And now, this. The next morning, Lila woke up early. She couldn't sleep much. Her mind was racing. Was this real? Under Armour wanted to meet her. She kept checking her phone, expecting the message to disappear like a dream. But it didn't. There it was. Still there. Still true. She got dressed carefully. Not too fancy, but not like she was going to McDonald's either. This was something else. She took a deep breath, stepped outside, and caught a ride across town. When she arrived at the Under Armour office, someone greeted her right away. "Lila?" the woman asked with a smile.
Yes, welcome.
"We've been expecting you." They led her inside. It felt surreal. She had never been in a building like this before. Glass walls, tall ceilings, people walking around with headsets and clipboards. And then, he walked in. Steph Curry, smiling, wearing a simple t-shirt and jeans. He looked at her and said, "Hey." She almost forgot how to speak. "Hi," she managed. He walked over and gave her a hug. "You have no idea how much what you did meant to me," he said. I didn't think it was a big deal. That's why it was a big deal," he said. "You didn't treat me like a celebrity. You treated me like a person. That's rare." Ayesha walked in behind him. She smiled and said, "We want to do more than just thank you." Lila blinked. "What do you mean?" Steph said, "Under Armour wants to offer you a job." Her eyes widened. "Hey, job?" Ayesha nodded. "Not just any job. A full-time position with our foundation. Working with kids, helping them grow, just like you helped me." Lila stood there, frozen. She thought her life had hit rock bottom the day before. Now she was standing in an office, being offered a job by one of the most famous athletes in the world. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. Steph smiled. "Say yes." She laughed through tears. "Yes," she said. "Yes, of course." And just like that, her life changed. One small act, one moment of kindness. That's all it took. Lila started her new job the next week. It wasn't just any job. It was with the Stephen Curry Foundation, a program that helped kids from underserved communities get access to sports, education and mentorship. She walked into the office every day in disbelief. She had a desk, a laptop, a team, and a purpose. Her role? Helping organize community events, mentoring students, and working directly with kids who, like her, came from regular families with big dreams. She remembered being one of those kids. Growing up, money was tight. Her parents worked hard, but never had much to spare. She played basketball at school, not because she wanted to be famous, but because it made her feel free. She never thought she'd end up working for someone like Steph Curry. Never in a million years. But here she was, and it all started with one moment, one act of kindness, one customer who needed help. As weeks passed, Lila settled into her new life. She met other employees who were just as passionate about making a difference. She visited schools. She helped set up clinics. She even got to speak at an event where Steph introduced her to a crowd of hundreds. He said, "This is Lila. She didn't ask for anything. She just helped me when I needed it most. And now, she's helping kids every single day." The crowd stood up and clapped. Lila smiled through tears. That night, she called her mom. "I got fired from McDonald's," she said. "And now?" her mom asked. "Now I work for Steph Curry." There was silence on the line, then laughter. "You've got to be kidding me." "I'm not," Lila said. "Life is wild, huh?" But not everyone was happy for her. Some people online saw the story and flipped it. They said things like, "She got lucky. She didn't earn it. All she did was hand him Wi-Fi. Why does she get rewarded for that?" Comments rolled in by the hundreds. Steph saw them, and he responded. In a live interview, a reporter asked him, "Do you think people are upset because they feel like she didn't deserve this opportunity?" Steph looked straight at the camera and said, "I don't care what people say. What matters is character." She showed more class in 5 minutes than some people show in a lifetime. That's the kind of person we want on our team. That was that. The comments stopped. Or at least, they didn't matter anymore. Lila kept going. She worked hard. She gave everything she had to the foundation. She knew people were watching. She knew some still doubted her. But she also knew something else. She belonged. She earned her place not by asking for favors or chasing fame. She earned it by doing the right thing when no one was looking. By choosing kindness. By seeing a man, not a celebrity, and helping him. Just because. Months passed. Lila had found her rhythm. She was no longer the girl who got fired from McDonald's. She was now a mentor, a speaker, and someone kids looked up to. At one of the foundation's events, she met a young girl named Kayla. Kayla was quiet at first, sitting on the edge of the gym floor, while other kids played basketball. Lila walked over and sat beside her. "Hey," she said gently, "you like basketball?" Kayla shrugged. "I dunno, I'm not good." Lila smiled. I wasn't either when I started. Kayla looked at her. Really? Yeah, I used to miss every shot, but I kept trying. And one day, I made one, then another, and then I realized it wasn't about being perfect, it was about showing up. Kayla thought for a moment. Then she stood up. I'll try, she said. She grabbed a ball, took a shot. It bounced off the backboard, but Lila clapped. That's the spirit. Kayla took another, and another. By the fifth try, the ball swished through the net. She turned around with the biggest smile. I did it. Lila gave her a high five. You sure did. Watching her, Lila felt something warm in her chest. This was why she was here. Not because of Steph, not because of Under Armour, but because of moments like this. Because of girls like Kayla. Because of people who needed someone to believe in them, even when they didn't believe in themselves. One evening, Lila got a call from Aisha. Hey, Aisha said, we're doing a new campaign. We want you in it. In it? Lila asked. We want to tell your story. On our social media. In an ad. On YouTube. Everywhere. Lila paused. She thought about how it all began. A simple act. A quiet man. A phone that wouldn't connect. And how that small moment changed everything. I'd love to, she said. So they filmed it. They told the story. From the McDonald's counter, to the firing, to the surprise phone call, to the job offer, to the little girl who just made her first basket. The video dropped online. Within hours, thousands of views. Within a day, hundreds of thousands. Within a week, over 10 million. People were moved. Moved by kindness. Moved by courage. Moved by the idea that sometimes, the smallest things can lead to the biggest changes. Viewers flooded the comments. This is what hope looks like. Thank you for reminding me that doing the right thing still matters. You inspire me to be better. Even strangers reached out. Some wanted to volunteer. Others shared their own stories about times they helped someone, or were helped when they needed it most. Lila read every message, every word, and she smiled, because she knew. She knew what it felt like to be down, to feel invisible, to think life had nothing more to give. But she also knew what it felt like to rise, to find purpose, to discover that fate has a funny way of rewarding those who do the right thing, even when no one's watching. Time passed. Lila kept working. She never forgot where she came from. She went back to the old McDonald's once, just to visit. The manager greeted her with a smile. You know, he said, they still talk about you here. She laughed. Good or bad? Mostly good. Some say you got lucky. She shook her head. Nope, she said. I just helped someone. He nodded. That was enough. Years later, Lila stood on a stage, in front of hundreds of students. She looked out at the crowd, smiling faces, hopeful eyes. She took a deep breath, and she began. This is my story. And she told them everything, from the beginning, to the end. And as she spoke, she saw it again. That spark, that belief. That moment when someone realizes anything is possible. All it takes is one step, one kind act, one moment of courage. And maybe, just maybe, the next time you see someone in need, you'll remember Lila, and you'll choose to help, because you never know. Your small act today could change someone's whole world tomorrow.